Hi everybody. Here are 6 tips for a better research paper. I read through all of your papers and I'm really pleased. I have, however, come up with 6 different little bits of advice for you guys as you start to rewrite and reorganize. So the first thing I wanted to mention was you should read through my comments and my edits, and you don't only need to work on your part. This is a group paper, so you've all done the legwork to get your draft done, but now you guys can put your heads together and make it better together. So you don't only need to focus on your paragraphs. Look at your teammates' paragraphs. Look at the whole paper. Make sure it flows together and make the necessary corrections as a team. Let's look at point 2. So this was a common issue in all of the papers. Please try to give illustrative support for your thesis in the body paragraph. So a little phrase I like to use is show, not tell. A lot of you guys are telling me the same points again and again, but you're not really showing me with evidence. The showing can be done through specific examples that illustrate your point, through personal experiences, through quotes, and especially through facts and statistics. Those are a really good, powerful way to prove your point. So let me give you a couple of examples. Here's telling. People don't have time to cook. And I'll see quotes. Zinczenko says, as Zinczenko says, people just don't have time these days. All right, so the quote and the I say should not just be repeating this level 1 idea. Remember, level 1 is broad. This could show up as your topic sentence or maybe as one of the level 2 sentences in your paragraph, but your evidence really needs to show what you mean by this. It's not enough just to have this statement. You have to show it. So here's showing. 40% of people report that they work over 50 hours a week and are unable to make it home for dinner. So there is a statistic, and it is showing how people don't have time to cook because they work over 50 hours a week. That's illustrating. Or if you were going to use a personal example, I work 2 jobs and do not have time to prepare dinner. Or no, and get home every night at 10 p.m. Do you see how that shows here that I don't have time to cook dinner? It's a specific example. So I want to see more of those in your body paragraphs. Um, Here's another example. So somebody started their body paragraph, you know, fast food companies try to hide, they don't give accurate information, and their evidence was Zinczenko says fast food purveyors try to hide the amount of calories, and that was it. That's not enough. You need your evidence to really show what you mean by that and give specific examples for your level 2 sentences or the subpoints in each paragraph. So, showing. According to Zinczenko, one company's website lists its chicken salad as containing 150 calories. The almonds in the noodles come with it, another 190 calories. As you see, there are a bunch of numbers here, and he's actually adding up all the total calories in a chicken salad and multiplying and getting at 1,040 calories, right? This is great evidence and proof for this point here. It's showing what you mean, what he means by hiding the calories. You really do need to show what you mean. Which brings me to my next point. You see anything kind of weird about this? I do. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. This is a quote of 8 lines. So your quote should never be 4 lines. I see so many 4-line quotes. That's too long. Maybe you'll have one in the whole research paper, but remind me to tell you about that on Wednesday. Your quotes need to be short and blended with your own words. And if it is a long idea, you can summarize or paraphrase. Okay? That means you're putting it into your own words, but you don't want to have more quotes, right? Exact speech from somebody else in your own paper. That just kind of defeats the purpose. Then it's not really yours. So here we go. I'm going to, here's this 8-line quote, and I'm going to summarize it in 4 lines in my own words. And that's what I recommend that you do. Zinczenko mentions a company who lists its chicken salad with only a total of 620 calories. However, when you read the label more carefully, it becomes clear that the dressing actually contains 2.5 servings. So you have to multiply the amount by that number. This then means it ends up being around 1,040 calories, which is half the government's recommended daily calorie intake. So you see, I am taking his idea here, I put it in my own words, and then I took just a piece of the quote, which I found was really important. And I blended that with this paraphrased idea here. So that's better than this, where you're basically just copying language from somewhere else, and it kind of shows or tells the reader that you haven't really thought about this idea. You're just dumping it in there. So I quickly want to reiterate that you should integrate your quotes, since we're talking about quotes right now. Don't just dump them. I see a lot of dumped quotes. Now, what does that mean? That means you have a complete sentence and then you just have another sentence that is a quote, and you're not connecting ideas. You're just kind of throwing that quote in. You need to have some words that come before the quote to introduce it and that come after it to explain it. So instead of having the quote separate here, I integrate the quote by saying, with some of my words, this means that the food with corn is cheaper than other food, as Pollan proves when he states, and then I put the quote. Do you see how I'm blending that? I'm putting my ideas there, and they're introducing Pollan's idea, which is quoted. Also here, Monitor is a pesticide used in modern farms, and then I have the quote right there. No, I need to use my own words to tie this quote into my essay. So I can just add a conjunction. One pesticide used is called Monitor, and then I have the quote. Okay? It's becoming more seamless and integrated into my own writing, which makes your paper flow a lot better. So don't just dump your quotes, embed them, integrate them with your own language. Okay, so I'm jumping back now to point number 4, which is that after you show your point through your really strong, detailed evidence, then you have to follow up your evidence with I say. And I noticed in your research papers that the I say is not really going deeper, not really truly evaluating the evidence. So first of all, the I say needs to be directly related to the evidence that comes before it, and it also needs to connect to the thesis. So it shouldn't just be repeating the level 2 ideas, the evidence, the topic sentence. It needs to be analyzing and evaluating. So let me give you an example here. And this, we had a long quote right here, and then we had a long chunk of I say. You know, it's good to have maybe a couple sentences of evidence followed by a few sentences of I say, but you don't want it to be so separate as it is here. So here is the quote. Some of the ingredients put in processed food are marketed as being healthy. Others are sold under the banner of convenience. Many are not meant to be eaten at a dinner table. The protein bar or Pop-Tart is designed to be consumed on the way to school or go to work. Campbell's has even designed a microwavable soup that can be eaten in a car. Most of the ingredients are tasty and fast to make. That is what makes people easily addicted. Even though people know that it causes many heart problems such as obesity and diabetes, it's hard for them to break their habit to increase the sales of their processed foods. The food companies added many ingredients to improve taste and different types of new products to attract more consumers, but it isn't meant to be good for people's health. So this, I say, is kind of talking about the addictive qualities of this, the convenient to-go food. However, there isn't really, the evidence isn't really mentioning anything about this being addictive. So I like that you're jumping to that conclusion in a way, but I think you could take it even deeper. So I rewrote this section of the paragraph because, first of all, this quote was too long, so I paraphrased it, and then I added I say, which I thought was directly related to the evidence and then also connected to the thesis. So here it is. While some products with added value blatantly lie about their products being healthier, we see others that are marketed for their convenience. For example, Pop-Tarts are easy to hold in your hand and eat, and Campbell's are a microwavable soup which can also be taken on the go. So these are my words, but it's Paulin's idea, so I have to give him credit. And then here's my I say. This is marketing genius. And this connects back to the thesis. It's talking about how this is a marketing technique, and that's what their thesis is. And then here is my analysis. When you take food to go and eat on the run, you probably think less about it, therefore you will consume more than you really need. So it's me, I'm thinking about the repercussions or the effects of eating food really quickly and on the go, as you're walking or in front of your desk, right? And that's me analyzing the evidence. You consume more than you really need, which then leads to obesity, and this also ties into the marketing technique, right? So the I say is evaluating not only the evidence, but it's also tying back to the thesis, which is about marketing techniques and how they directly relate to this obesity epidemic. Okay, gotta move on. We've got 2 minutes left. So let's talk about body paragraphs. I just want to give you and remind you that body paragraphs should contain level 1, level 2, and level 3 sentences. This kind of ties back into that first point, show not tell. In case you need a refresher, because I'm going to go through this quickly, click this link right here, how to write a perfect body paragraph. You're doing the same thing in an essay as you are in a research paper. So your first sentence is going to be general, your topic sentence is going to introduce the topic, and then your level 2 sentences are going to kind of tell how you're going to break that topic into 2 or 3 parts. And then the level 3 sentences are going to be very specific. So let me give you an example. Here's my level 1 sentence. Food companies create health claims to help make junk food sound as healthy as broccoli. That's my general idea. They're making health claims that they're not really true. Now we're breaking it down a little bit more. They usually focus on aspects of the food that sound healthier, even though the food is mostly bad. Okay, so that's a little more specific. I need you to show me what you're talking about. So that's what the level 3 is. Here I give an example. For example, front of package labels will sometimes say high in vitamin D or low sodium, while failing to acknowledge, how much sugar there is.